hey, can you ask Nicole about her son? And I was like, I don't give I have to get ready.
Hey everyone, it's Mera Mangle.
And I'm KYLIE SONIQUE.
And welcome to another Mangled morning. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and join the Patreon where you can see all kinds of additional content you can't see on YouTube. So let's go back to season 2, and that first challenge was the curtain challenge.
Yes.
You slayed that. You did really great.
Thank you. My strategy for the curtain challenge was, initially I wanted the zebra curtains, but I really felt like there was like 5 people that really wanted those curtains. So my strategy was go for the curtains, least likely I'm gonna have to fight for. I was like,
and you had some competitive
I'm
girls.
queen from Atlanta, bitch. We hot gluing and taping and riggery, honey. I did sew some of it. I didn't really know how to sew, but that was when I actually met Marco from, you know, the designer.
I met him at DragCon, and he, talk about going back to experiences. I asked him for a picture and he didn't say no, but what he did, and he posed for it, but...
Did he do this?
He put his hat over his face.
Thing. That's his thing.
So it was like that's a nice way to do it. If you're gonna like, let me just like, I don't know, it was cute. That's
his trademark thing. That's his signature thing. But he actually taught me how to like use the sewing machine enough for me to like sew what I need to do.
You've walked in a few of his shows, right?
Yeah, I've been in 4 of Marco's shows. Yeah, super dope to be able to be a part of that. I thought my outfit was one of the best constructed. Being there in the workroom, you got to get to see who's sweating it, who's kind of just not having a clue of how to get themselves together. And
poor girl.
Okay, Miss
Hers wasn't that bad, honestly, compared to like, I don't know.
Shangela, Miss Shangy. I love Shangela. Love Shangela. I actually have this. That's how much I love her. I thought she did really good, especially like only been doing drag for like what, 6 months at the time?
Right.
Like hardly not like a long time at all.
Okay, so now we have to talk about what, to me, one of the most ridiculous episodes ever of Drag Race, which is the Star Bootylicious episode.
Yeah.
Not only did they have you guys doing pole dancing, you also had to go sell cherry pie gift certificates in the street.
We were hustling that.
In the street, but you were still wearing like your stripper looks in the street, right?
And that episode is crazy too, because 1, they give me 0 credit of choreographing our routine.
Oh.
Yes, me and Morgan did it, but they never showed that I was doing it. I had to cuss Sahara out. Rest in peace, my love. I cussed her out for that fabric. And they didn't show that on there. You know, like when I'm at home watching it, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know I have moments this time. Because when I watched the first episode, I remember watching it and not seeing me hardly in any of the edit. And the second one, I was like, okay, clearly I have my hand in a lot more for this one. So it was just really odd watching it at home. Yeah. It wasn't the same experience for me. I had a great time. Like when I'm on the street, like talking to the guy and I'm like telling him like, you know, if he doesn't have any money to hit it, like literally,
it's the best.
Anybody who knows me like will know like I have a very sarcastic way of my humor. Like I don't say anything mean to anyone. Like even if I don't like you, I would never say anything to you if I don't like you. But for me, if I'm having fun or whatever, I just like to joke around. And I really feel like maybe the people that were corresponding with RuPaul maybe took what I had said the wrong way.
It's the best moment from that episode though to me. It really is. Like it is so funny.
I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this is so funny.
My time is expensive too, so you need to hit it.
Okay, and they don't show this. I literally do like a pivot turn and I'm like, I'm just kidding. They have us out here trying to make this money or whatever. And he ends up giving me $5.
Damn.
They don't show that. There's also another moment where this old ass man comes up to me and he's misunderstanding what I'm saying. He thinks I'm a prostitute. Well, somebody's granddaddy.
And that's based on how you all were dressed. Like that's not a surprise.
He was trying to get me to go around the building to hook up with him. And I was like, oh, for sure they're gonna put this on TV. They don't. They didn't. And it was hilarious. I just remember having such a great time, but when I watch it back, I'm just like, ugh. We're at the Dragonfly doing our routine, and it was so hot in there. Ooh. Like there was no air going whatsoever. I used some of my real hair to like do this like ponytail, and I'm just like look back at it and I'm just like, oh, such a mess, girl.
You said in translation that you don't care to watch it, and it makes sense. You were saying like
I don't. My experience there was completely different than
how it aired, how it shaped up.
But I'm grateful for the whole thing. Like honestly, like I've taken the good stuff and ran.
Then the very next episode is it's like the first real acting challenge on Drag Race.
Yeah, it was the Disco Greasy Shortening Challenge.
Jessica Wilde.
Let me tell you. That was fun for me.
Yeah.
I had a great time doing that. Morgan had me dying. Literally, I was dying. She looked exactly like my dad's grandma. And she was so crude in a way, but for me, like, it's funny to me.
I think it was, what was it, Kathy and the Jiminy or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think what's funny watching that episode back, like now, is like how Morgan is pretty normal. And like would be something that they would laugh at today.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but back then it was like, it was taken so seriously.
Look at me too, like at the same time, like most of all the that I did back then, like me tumbling. Now they're giving people $100,000 to do that,
right?
You know, and I got sent home for doing that, you know, and I'm a professionally trained gymnast. Like, not only do I do it, but I look good when I do it.
Right. It is literally a gag that I mean, it's mind blowing. I think it was, we did a top 10 once where we did like underrated lip syncs, and that was number one, because it's like, why do people not talk about that one? Like, that is one of the best lip syncs ever. What does suck though is some of those early seasons, the lip sync, what they show you is basically just the highlights. It's so short, you know?
Yeah.
That was definitely one of those where I was like, let me see the full lip sync because this looks amazing.
I know that I felt the same way too watching it, but you know, at the end of the day, like I was saying, you know, they have a TV show to make, right, and whoever's in the bottom, if you're just not giving them the TV that they need, they're gonna have to like get you out of there. I don't feel like story-wise I was giving them what they needed for TV.
Right.
I was super difficult with the story, people like hiding behind stuff and be like, hey, can you ask Nicole about her son? And I was like, I don't give I have to get ready, you know? And I was like, and I remember having such an attitude and not thinking, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has a job. I have a job. I'm there to be a queen that's going to be on a show. They have a job. They have to like help push and motivate stories there. And if you don't have a story or dialogue, then bitch, get out of here. Right. And I just remember just not really, they should have gave us more media training, honestly, to make everybody's job easy. But for me, I'm just thinking, I don't care. Like, I already know about Nicole and her son. I live in Atlanta. Like,
right. Why would I ask her that?
You know, get one of these queens that don't know her. You know, but that was the story, is that we knew each other. And I just remember probably not being the most pleasant, which is not good when you're on Drag Race. Like, they want to work with people that are easy to work with and that are fun to work with. And, you know, I don't really think that I was given that, but I've grown and I've learned a lot in filming the Christmas special. I worked with Eureka and absolutely love her, and she gave me some of the best advice when I filmed with her, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely, in another episode, we'll definitely get into the Christmas special. Maybe we'll do that. You'll come back for Christmas and we'll do that.
Maybe. I'm down.
Cute. Yeah, that'll be really cute. We're almost to the end of your journey there, but we have to talk about the Lady Gaga.
Oh my God.
Now, first of all, you know, for you guys especially, for season 2, it's the first ever Snatch Game. You didn't know what you were walking into.
No.
You know, you were like, yeah, I do Lady Gaga, like, you can do a Lady Gaga look.
Yeah, well,
you wanted to do pink, didn't you?
I wanted to do pink. I absolutely love pink.
Morgan.
And I did not think anyone else was going to be doing pink. But when I got there, I realized Morgan loves pink too. For the record, I love pink way more. But Morgan is right there. And we have bonded so much over, you know, things like that. And she wanted to do pink. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to do something else. And honestly, I'm actually kind of grateful that I didn't do pink, because I don't know if I would have done a better job.
You began that legacy, the long legacy of queens who do Lady Gaga. end up in the bottom.
It's so killing because, well, okay, and I will say this too. It was kind of like, everyone was like, oh girl, you should do Madonna, you should do Madonna. And I was so, like, I was in a point in my life where like I would hear that all the time, even before Drag Race. Oh, you should do Madonna. I didn't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to do it, then I would do it. And I just didn't feel like doing it. And Lady Gaga was my girl at the time. And I was just like, I'll do Lady Gaga. But at that time in Lady Gaga's career, she hadn't done Paparazzi, where she did the blood thing yet.
This is right at the beginning.
This is the beginning. Yeah. So by the time it aired, she had blown up into this big thing. There would have been a lot more to work with. So people at home are judging me based on Lady Gaga at that particular moment then, and not realizing that we had filmed it so long ago. And it was kind of like, watching it. I don't remember not being so bad, but like I say, they have to justify, you know,
story.
The bottom queens, and I don't think I was given enough story. There wasn't enough going on between me and anybody else, you know, and it sucked because I remember in the list of things that we got that we had to prepare for was impersonation. And for me, I was so used to drag being like, well, you just look like them and you just lip sync. I can do a look for Lady Gaga. Then when it was like, well, you have to act like them, I was like, well, I don't really know how to do that.
Yeah.
I never really had to use my voice in drag. It was always like you turn in your music and your voice is whatever track you put on there. I didn't really MC, so I wasn't used to like kind of improvising. I learned a lot, and I'm really grateful for the full experience altogether, because had I been praised for my work there, I don't know that I would have got much better from that, because I've noticed that there are people who get praised
and they kind of just plateau,
and they just kind of like, well, this is good enough.
Yeah,
so
I could see that.
And they just say like that, and then you see those queens who maybe get harsh critiques or whatever, or get sent home early, and they take that and learn, and you just see like a fully realized queen. And I'm just really grateful. I was such a baby when I was on Drag Race, even though I felt like I knew a lot. I knew nothing compared to what I've learned after being on Drag Race. And I could have easily hung up my heels and transitioned and like, you know, let some old man like take care of me and all that. That had definitely so many times had been like a proposition for me. It was like, well, hey, if you get away from this life, you know, I'll take care of you and do that. And I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to be able to take care of myself. I don't want to have to rely on somebody. Because what if like 5 years, 10 years down the road, I've left everything I worked hard for, and then you decide, oh, well, she's just not cute enough anymore, or she's not young enough, or blah, blah, blah. Nothing. And then here I am crawling back to Hamburger Mera. You know?
Put me in the show.
Put me in the show, girl. Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to know that I can be my own sugar mama. Yes. I can take care of myself. And there have been times where I'm like, God, girl, you should have really took up that opportunity. The sugar daddy offer. You know, but I've had to work so hard for everything that I have. I left home at 17. I was taken out of school when I was in 10th grade. And I had every odd against me growing up as a kid. And somehow, like, I am here in Los Angeles, California, and people know the name that I created all around the world. Had I just let every single person that didn't believe in me direct me and where they think that I should have been in life, I'd probably be somewhere unhappy in a small town in Georgia. Yeah,
with how many queens there are now, how many Ru girls there are now, to be able to be one of the ones, especially from being from an early season, to be able to still be a big name and be like a presence in the community is I mean, that shows your tenacity and your talent too. But it shows that you have to, in addition to the talent, you have to put in the work in terms of like, there's a lot of crap you got to do to stay up. And
oh, for sure.
You appeared to like develop a very close relationship with Morgan on the season, and we got to really see that in the reunion too. So are you guys still close?
Oh yeah, me and Morgan are super close. Honestly, Morgan's like family to me. When I first moved to California, she opened up her home to me. I moved in with her and kind of got myself like settled into California. And shortly after, I got on Dreamgirls, which is like a huge thing here in Southern California. It was the only show, like the top of the top drag queens. I'm really grateful for getting to be a part of it when it was like the tits.
Yeah, and you'll forever be a dream girl.
I am.
So let's talk about the reunion. So, you know, you mentioned that you had been talking in the interviews, but they obviously don't air any of it, that you're a woman. You know, they don't even acknowledge that. I mean, like you said, there wasn't much, you didn't get a ton of story anyway.
Right.
But the reunion was a gag because you come out as a trans woman.
That's another thing too. I was saying, like, it would have helped to have media training. You know, you're in this room for hours, you have somebody on the other side of a camera talking to you. And if you're just kind of like, oh, I'm hungry. Yeah, it was like cool today.
Right.
You know, nobody wants to put that on TV. That's fucking boring. Nobody gives a shit. That's not cute. People want you to be like making faces and being alive and reacting or shady. That's what people are going to stay tuned to watch. And I get it. When it was happening then, all my feelings were hurt. Because it's like, wow, I was not in hardly any of the things or whatever. And I just learned, like, when you are making TV, be present.
Mm-hmm. Tatiana, she gave some very good confessionals. She was
great TV.
She was amazing. She was amazing TV.
You know what I love about Tatiana is, yeah, she may have had a lack of experience in the drag world or whatever, but she had a natural gift of being on television. She's super smart and witty. She spoke very well for television, and she held her own. Like, yeah, she may not have had like the best wardrobe, but honestly, did any of us on season two have a good wardrobe?
It was a different time.
It was a different time. The girls on season 2 were kind of all on the same level in a sense. Like, no one was like way over the top.
Yeah.
And there was nobody that was super green besides Shangela, but even Shangela wasn't that bad, you know, like, you know, I look at me and some of the stuff I did, and I'm like, well, it's no different than Shangela. The only difference is I didn't need instructions on how to get ready. You talked about the reunion show. I know I've told this before in interviews before, and I don't mind telling it, and I'm going to tell it. But during the interview, me and one of the other girls were actually coming down off of ecstasy.
Oh, during the reunion?
Yes. So, yeah. I was still like high from taking ecstasy at White Party that weekend. Yeah, we filmed on a Tuesday. I believe I took the ecstasy early Monday morning.
Wow. It
stays in your system for a while. So if you watch the reunion, you noticed me and that other, it was Jujubee. We had rolled together. Yeah, it was really fun.
Nice. I mean, Juju's amazing. Juju's amazing.
Yeah, she's sober now, and I think that's really fucking dope of her.
Yeah.
Coming out as trans, not even fully understanding what it meant to be trans at the time. You know, no one was coming out on TV. You didn't have like a huge support group from that. People didn't really know how to take it. I would have people that would reach out to me and be like, oh my God, like you mean so much to me, or you coming out like really changed my life. And I never really fully understood it. I was like, what did I say? What did I do? I don't feel like I said or did anything. But I think just being a visible person, even if I didn't fully understand what it meant to be trans, I knew how I felt, and I knew the direction and where I wanted to go in life. I'm really grateful for Drag Race. I really feel like it helped push me to the person that I am today. But I definitely had to do the work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're the first queen to ever do that on television or on Drag Race. I mean, you had a long line of sisters after you that did do that. Some on TV and some not.
Yeah, it was a scary time because that's not something that people actually talked about. The only time I'd ever seen like trans people on TV was really when they were being made fun of on like Maury and Ricky Lake and stuff like that. Maybe not like made fun of, but like. You know, they would come on TV and they were like, oh, is this a man or a woman? You know, and
it was always like, that, they always did the thing where it was like, trans people are always trying to trick people, you know,
Yeah.
like be deceitful is basically,
Maybe.
you know.
Yeah, trust me, I did not do this to trick anybody. What does that even mean? Like,
that documentary Disclosure is just so,
it's super great.
it's so eye-opening too, to see how all of these things have helped form the world's opinion. Like literally the media has helped form the world's opinions on trans people and how damaging it's been, you know?
Yeah.
And thank God we're finally starting to get to a point where, we're getting great representation, including you. I mean, yeah, that's a huge moment in television history, period.
I really wish that I could have been a bigger part of Disclosure. I did find a clip that I was in on there, but it had nothing to do with Drag Race. I was like in the crowd for the Glee episode. That was like a trans episode.
Again, Drag Race season 2 is basically, I would say in terms of like aesthetically, like that's what it still looks like. But I think like in terms of a lot of the challenges, everything nowadays is, for the most part, you know, it's about being funny. It's like those acting challenges. It's changed so much. How do you think you would do on an All-Stars or on Drag Race today?
I really feel like I would be a more well-rounded queen for TV in general.
Right.
So I love doing drag, and I love the getting ready process, and I just love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. Like, who doesn't love getting ready? You know?
I don't.
No, but it's fun. Like, look what you put
It's
this
fun in
all
the end.
together. Like,
it's fun in the end.
you know, you were inspired by me in some way, like to put on this Power Ranger outfit, right? And drag is about like being inspired by other people or what's going on in the world, and you just showcasing that, and I think it's such a wonderful thing, and I would be so grateful, and I think I would have a lot of fun if I get to do something like that again.
Even though you weren't really involved with it, but we have to talk about the drama with the season 2 girls, like on the season. I mean, obviously it's continued on, but the wedding challenge one is where everything really blows up.
Oh my goodness.
And you didn't get to be there for that.
I didn't get to be there for that.
You would have killed that challenge
I
too.
Killed that wedding challenge. I think that's why they sent me home, because they knew.
And the Rockstar Challenge.
And the Rockstar Challenge. I actually had a rock band when I lived in Atlanta. Like a rock and roll band. Like guitars, drums, all of that.
The girls were not happy with Tyra. What was your experience like behind the scenes? Did you, because I know also back then, you guys you didn't have to stay in your hotel room all the time. Like you guys were a little bit more free, right?
Kind of,
like
a little bit. Like once we got to meet each other, then we got to, like kind of mingle a little bit. I think some of the girls like might have hooked up, things like that, yeah.
Lovely.
I think Sahara and Tyra hooked up.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else did, but I do know that those two did. Tyra, I don't like to talk too much about her. I just feel like there's enough negative out there about her. But I will say this, she's just misunderstood, young. She didn't have the best manners at the time. I think she was a fabulous queen. I think that she was focused on what she wanted. You know, she rubbed people the wrong way, and that just comes with like being young. I don't have any negative feelings, nor have I ever had any negative feelings toward anybody from my season of Drag Race. There was that one moment with me and Tatiana, but literally that moment was over within like not even minutes. There was one thing in Untucked where, you know, I had said to Tatiana that her outfit was tired, and I immediately apologized to her, which they don't show that.
Of course not, yeah.
And then we go into the other room, and one of the story people was behind the camera, and they were like, so like, Sonique, why don't you tell the rest of the girls like what you said to Tatiana in the other room? And I was thinking to myself, oh my God. I was already so emotional and in my feelings, and I told you I like felt like that day.
Yeah.
I'm probably going home today, no matter what. And there was a clip where I'm like, what do you want me to fucking do? Pull her hair off? I already told her I'm sorry or whatever. They made it look like I was saying that to Jujubee, which is a fan favorite of the show. And I was actually talking to the woman behind the camera.
That's wild.
If you're out there watching it and it's drama, just have fun with it. Don't take it serious. You never know what's really going on. Don't be mean to these girls.
Yeah. Well, I think that does it for our season 2 conversation.
I don't think there's anything else I can say about season 2.
I don't think we have anything left to unturn there. We are so glad you got to see us.
Boom. Okay.